Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to the Jason Universe panel. We are celebrating 45 years. Round of applause.
Hell yes. We got an incredible panel. Some of the people who are, really linked to this franchise for years, and I can't wait to introduce them to you. So let's start with the president of Horror Inc., Rob Barsamian. This guy's so cool. All right, then let's give it up for the EVP of Horror Inc., Robbie Barsamian. Welcome. All right. CMO of Horror Inc., Sherry Kahn. Come on up, Sherry. EVP of Film at Atomic Monster, Judson Scott. And Filmmaker of Sweet Revenge and Rockford Road Pictures, Mike Nelson. Give it up for Mike Nelson. Man, this is super exciting. Robert, I should tell you who I am. I'm Peter Santa Maria, a.k.a. Attack Peter. I'm an artist and senior creative director at Mondo. Come to the Mondo booth. Come to the Mondo booth. All right, let's get right into this. Robert, as president of Horror Inc., you've been the guardian of the franchise for decades. But your involvement with the franchise started far before you officially worked your way to the title. Tell us a bit about your family history and what it was like growing up.
So my dad he loved movies, and our family loved movies from the day I was born. I was kind of surrounded with it. But it really didn't start in the movie business or in the theater business. My dad first started in the miniature golf course business. So his first venture was building miniature golf courses, and he built one, and then he built two, and then he built three, and he built them all over New England. And then from there, he went into trampoline parks. And so he said, okay, there's got to be another entertainment piece along with miniature golf courses. And we went into the trampoline business. And from the trampoline business, that grew, and he built another one and another one. And then drive-in theaters were kind of coming into pleasure at that time. And so he built his first drive-in theater with telephone poles on the screen. He built the concession stand himself. And it was really, a sight for sore eyes, the first drive-in theater we built, and we kind of kept pictures of it our whole lives. It was, he ramped the ramps himself, he built the projection booth himself, and from one drive-in theater to the next drive-in theater to the next drive-in theater to the next indoor theater, he became one of the biggest independent movie owners in the United States. So from a miniature golf course to trampolines to drive-in theaters to indoor theaters. So it was really a remarkable run for him. And for him, movies were all about the fans. It was fan-driven. So for him, growing up, he came from very little, and going to the movies, going to the matinees, going on a Saturday dressed up in a suit with my grandfather was the big thing that they could do. It was a time to get away. And he always said, even till the day he died, that it was the best entertainment that money could buy. You got away from it all. You didn't have to worry about what was going on in your life. You could enjoy it with your family. You could fall in love again. And that's what drove him. So really, the drive for him was the emotional connection with the fans and what it also did for him in his life.
And, round of applause. So the question is, how did he go from movie theaters to the movies themselves?
Well, it was a progression, right? So as an entrepreneur, a guy that didn't have much at the time, building his way into the entertainment business, which was really, a Hollywood thing, right? It was California. It wasn't Boston, Massachusetts, Andover, Mass, where we grew up, North Andover, Lawrence, Mass. No one knew anything about that piece of it. And so he said, and I'll just explain a little bit, in those days what used to happen is you used to watch films before they went into your theaters. or your outdoor or indoor theaters. So you would screen movies months or weeks before they came into your theater. And then you would have to bid on certain movies, and you'd have to figure out where they would go and what theaters they would go in. So it was a complicated process, but you were paying to rent the movie, more or less. And you had to gamble on what was going to make it and what wasn't. And so he would see every movie that came out weeks before it came out. He built a screening room in his office, and he would bring people like you in to watch the movie. And he would figure out, okay, is the reaction what he wanted to see? And it was either yes or no. And if it was yes, then he would make sure that that movie was in every theater that he had. And that's kind of where he started, right? So the love of movies came from that. And from that point, he said, okay, horror is in right now. Kids' movies are in. So and they didn't have the money to make a movie back in the day. So they went and bought movies or licensed movies. And then they would retitle movies. And they said, well, why can't we do this? We'll put our movies in our own theaters, and we can pay ourselves. And that's kind of how it started with him. And so one movie led to another movie, led to another movie. I'll tell you a funny story. And he was in the horror business early on. So they went to Europe, came back. I was a kid at the time, and they had this movie called Mark of the Devil. It was a wild horror movie. Like, I couldn't even believe it was rated R. It was, at the time. And so his campaign on it, he said, okay, well, how can I get people to come see this movie? So he made 1 million vomit bags. And he handed them out with a ticket. And it was a complete success. And he licensed the movie, I think it was for $10,000. So that was the beginning of his life, figuring out what movies he wanted to do, and so on and so forth.
So vomit bags equals money is what we're talking. I got it. All right. So it sounds like your whole life you're in this world, concession stands, box, the whole thing. It's your life. How did we get Friday the 13th from that? I think I understand where you're going with it, but how do we go to Friday the 13th?
So as he was making movies and investing in movies and buying movies, we had done a couple movies with Sean Cunningham, which was the director and producer of the first movie with us. And so Halloween had just come out, and my dad had seen Halloween before it came out. And then he screened it again, and he brought about 100 people into his theater to watch it before it went into the movie theater. And he said this was going to be a home run. He said we have to play off this. This horror thing is back. He started working on Friday the 13th before Halloween came out. Halloween came out when I was a kid, and my dad had his whole office. Back in the day, how you could figure out how a movie was doing was when it opened up in a matinee, the lineup, he would go and count people. And he would say, okay, the 12 o'clock show had 2,000 people. This is a home run. And so that was the beginning of it all. We had a relationship with Sean Cunningham. We had done 2 movies with him before. We hired him. He hired Victor Miller to do the first movie. And then on the movies thereafter, we hired different directors, different producers, and here we are 45 years later.
It's incredible. There are so many movies in this franchise, so why go from what inspired him, I think I know the answer to this too, but what inspired him to continue on with the franchise?
Well, obviously when the first one came out, it was exciting for them, and then for the next 8 years, really, they made a movie every year. So it was just kind of going, and for him, it was the audience's reaction. It went back to the core of why he was there. He saw how people were enjoying it, what was going on, how the audience was getting excited about it. And so that's what really drove him. It was fan-driven. If he didn't see the reaction from the fan and the response from the fan, he wouldn't have continued down that lane because he was doing a variety of other things at the same time.
And these fans are passionate, right?
I think so. You can tell.
I'm a hardcore fan. Yeah, give it up for yourselves, guys. I'm a hardcore fan myself of Friday the 13th. I always love Jason, my favorite slasher, because I root for Jason. It's like I get his motivation. I understand why he's pissed. And I kind of I want to see him follow through on all of it. So, yeah, it's an amazing thing. Robbie, serving as the 3rd generation guardian, you come with not only a love for the franchise because of your family history, but you have a fresh perspective having the opportunity to entrench yourself in films that predated you. right? So, you're a fan just like us. Why do you think this franchise is so?
I'm not as young as I look.
Huh?
I'm not as young as I look.
Hey, you look great. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what your dad says. You look fantastic. Why do you think this franchise is so has elicited that passion from people like me, people here in the crowd? Why do you think what is it?
So sorry, repeat the question one more time. I was a little.
Why do we love this so much? Why do we love the Friday franchise? Because people will show up in droves to hear anything about this franchise, and you guys are the stewards of it. Why do you think it's something that resonates with people so much?
Yeah, so I don't think there's just one reason. There are many reasons, but if I were to put my finger on one, I would definitely say Jason. I think people have come to love him. They're obsessed with him. They're obsessed with his revenge story. They're obsessed with his bloody, horrific kills. They're obsessed with, although he, takes a lot of blows, he may go down, he always comes back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going all in on trying to bring Jason back in a lot of new ways, which we'll get into in a little bit.
He's an inspirational figure, is what you're saying. Right? I get it. It's right there. Yeah, with some of the best authors. Mike, what was the first Friday the 13th movie you ever saw? How young were you? Too young, I'm sure. And what made you fall in love with these movies?
So the first one that I saw, and it wasn't even the entire movie because I wasn't allowed to watch horror films growing up, which is why I'm here today doing what I do. It was Jason Takes Manhattan, and it wasn't even the whole movie. It was like a shot of Jason coming into a door, and I just froze. It was on the TV, and I was like, oh, good Lord. It was like it was like the second coming. I was like, oh my God. And I froze, and I knew my parents were in the kitchen, and I knew that they would make me turn it off. So I turned it off, and I just was so upset because all I wanted to do was watch the rest of the movie. And I actually didn't end up watching the majority or all of the Friday the 13th until, again, I was of age. Yeah, I mean, I was, even at that age, which was, God, it had to have been like 8 or 9 years old or something like that. I was young. It was.
He said 8 or 9 years old.
8 or 9, yeah, 8 or 9 years old. It was still, he was, and again, the mask was such an iconic thing to look at. I got a lot of my horror surges from going to the library and finding horror books because I could do that. It was going to the movie stores and perusing the horror aisles because I could do that. And so, yeah, that's kind of where it all started.
Do you feel like there's anything from the franchise that has permeated into the work that you do as a filmmaker?
Yeah, I mean, it had such those movies had such a great way of balancing scares and brutality, and at the core of it, there was always like this heart, and some people might disagree with that and might just say that they're very straightforward slashers and it's just a bunch of killing. And he's the one that it's the one franchise that I feel like to your point, like he's a character that, to your point, he's a character that you kind of root for in an interesting way, and he's been dealt Jason's been dealt a kind of a rough deck, and this is how he deals with things. And much like us, fans, horror fan myself, horror is such a great outlet, and Jason is a mirror. You know what I mean? I think that's.
He's working through his issues in these
100%.
movies. We're rooting for that transition all the way. Absolutely. Judson.
Yo.
Bro, favorite Friday movie?
I'm going to answer that in a second real quick. Comic-Con's a really special place for me. I love it here. I met my wife here 14 years ago. So shout out to my wife.
Clap it up for love.
Still together. Jason Takes Manhattan was my first movie like Mike. I was way too young. I was hanging out with a cousin, an older cousin, who wasn't even really related. It was like my mom's friend's kid, how that goes. And he took me to his friend's house who had rented Jason Takes Manhattan, and we watched it. And it terrified me. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. I'll never forget that first kill on the boat with the two lovers, as it happens in the Friday the 13th films, getting stabbed together. Just scorched in my mind forever that long ago. And I just, like, for the rest of that afternoon was just, like, looking away from the TV, trying to pretend that I was watching, but I wasn't, because I was just too scared. And after that, I just kept thinking about how scared I was and, like, why. And at the time, Friday the 13th was on cable a lot, TNT, TBS, like Up All Night, and Monster Vision with Joe Bob and that sort of thing. So anytime I'd see that come on, I was always up late. I would always try to, like, find the courage to watch a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And then I started to get through them and fell in love with them. And that started this entire obsession that I have with horror movies, which I've now managed to turn into a career, which is crazy and awesome. And so, yeah, but it was Jason Takes Manhattan was the first one. I'll never forget it. That afternoon sort of like kicked off this whole like lifetime of loving Friday the 13th movies, loving horror, making horror movies, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Dude, it's funny what you mentioned, like easing into watching more of the movie. The first one for me was 5. New Beginning, believe it or
Yes.
not. And there was a scene where, what's his face on the motorcycle's going in circles,
Totally.
freaking out. And his head just gets cut off. I was like 10 years old. I freaked out, dude.
Yes.
And I never went back to watch that film until I watched the other ones, and I came back later on. That one movie freaked me out. So good. Why do you think it resonates? And from your perspective, you know, again, from behind the scenes perspective, you see it everywhere. Why do you think this keeps coming back up for people?
Well, I think it's important to say that the movies, especially that first wave, like 1 through 4 or whatever your movie is, the movies are good. You know, like Friday the 13th is a good movie. It's really scary. It's well done. It's really well acted. Like Betsy Palmer's terrific in the movie. Adrian King's terrific in the movie. You know, the Steve Miner movies 2 and 3 and Part 4, they're fantastic movies. They're really scary. They're effective. They get a little funnier as they go, but you know, the filmmakers know, you know, how to execute scares. They know how to execute misdirects, build tension. And Jason's a really scary horror villain, and I think that that's why it caught on, because there's a million slasher movies, and you know they all have something to offer, and I love most of them. But I do think that this stood the test of time because it was so well done, it was effective. I also think that it being in the woods was giving it a different flavor at the time, was also really scary. I mean, anyone who lived out around the woods or in a woodsy area was probably afraid of Jason in the woods when you were younger and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think the staying power speaks to the quality of the films. And how they're executed. And the last thing is that they deliver what the people want. I mean, like Robert here said it, it's like when a Friday the 13th comes out, you're expecting certain thing, and for so long, they delivered, you know, and I mean, that's why they made a movie a year for 8 straight years, because the audience knew they'd come, they'd get what they want, they'd have a good time. And so I think that also speaks a lot to the power of the franchise and like why it sticks around.
Yeah. Next time we do a panel, we should hand out barf bags, dude.
Great idea.
I'm fixated on that, by the way. I'm like, how can I incorporate that into what we do? Yeah, barf bags, the next big thing. Yeah, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's get to, you know, a very important question for me. Favorite kill. I'm going to say mine first. It says to say mine last. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say mine first because they're going to steal it if I don't say it first. And my favorite kill is when part 6. Who likes part 6? I know how to win the crowd over.
Yeah.
So part 6, you fold Sheriff in half. I've never been so like, damn, yes, for a kill in my life. And so folding the Sheriff in half is my favorite. Let's start with you, Sheriff. What was your favorite moment, favorite kill? Anything. It doesn't have to be a kill, but favorite moment from the
Final chapter.
Yes.
The entire Trish Tommy montage at the end. 100%. Also, though, Crispin Glover's
Crispin
dance,
Glover dance is a good moment.
like, that's just classic. Yeah.
I thought Mike was about to break into. I'm like, hell yes.
Oh my God.
All right, Mike, favorite moment for you?
It actually really stuck with me, and this was one that, it resonated with me, and it's still a frightening moment to me because of what they show and what they don't show. I'm blanking on the character's name, but the dude in the shower.
Oh, yeah.
And then hand comes through and crushes his face.
Yep.
Like, it put the psychotrope kind of on its head and, like, put the guy in the shower.
Yeah.
And he's, like, waiting for his girlfriend. And he sees the shape come up, and he's like, is that you? And then just, whoa! And we're just like, oh, my God. And then like, you're just watching, and you just see the blood kind of go down the drain, and you're just like, oh, good Lord. Like, that could be me. And it was a guy screaming.
Oh.
It wasn't a girl screaming that, you know, we've grown so accustomed to hear. And so that, to me, was very impressionable.
Just when you thought it was safe to take a shower. Robbie, give me your favorite, if you had to pick.
Yeah, so part 3, when Jason picks up the hockey mask, I think it doesn't get much more iconic than that, so it's definitely my favorite.
How about you, Robert?
And for me, it was the first really 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's that grouping of films together that, brought him to life in a certain way that everyone kind of jumped into. And then the other ones kept rolling. But for me, it was that group of films. When I go back and I watch it, I can take a piece of each one and say, wow, that made me feel different or look different or cheer more or get really scared. So it was that group of films then.
I thought I had. I'm with Robbie. Part 3. I mean, I love the Steve Miner movies 2 and 3. They're probably my favorites. And the handstand kill on Part 3 is amazing.
Yes.
But it's the young lady in the lake when Jason walks down the dock with the hockey mask on, and she thinks it's Shelley because the last time she saw the hockey mask, he was wearing it. But then she starts to realize that it's a bigger person, and she says, "Who are you?" And he picks up the spear gun and shoots her in the eye with it, and it's fucking awesome. And but it's just such a chilling moment when she recognizes that it's not her friend on the dock, and it's Jason in the hockey mask, and then obviously that's what he became for the rest of the franchise. So that's the highlight for me. I would say next would be the kill at the end of final chapter at 4 with the blade in the head going down when it's just unbelievable.
That's a good one. In another horrible dimension, she goes, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Jason," and the franchise is over right there. Okay, so, all right, Robert, your dad, did he tell you anything? Did you have any memories of like, hey, this was awesome, people were loving it? Like, what was his account of all this? Like, how did he convey that to you? What do you remember from that?
On the Friday series or just movies in general?
No, yeah. Well, fans coming out of the first Friday.
As I said before, I think for him, he could tell. I mean, every Friday movie that came out, my father would be at the matinee counting people in the line. And then he could tell, he said, okay, this is going to work. And he would sit, his happy place was in the theater with people. So he could have been anywhere he wanted to be. He was always in a theater. And if he saw the reaction from people, for him, that was it. That's all, that emotional feel that, okay, we did something interesting and different, kept him going. So it was really that piece of it. It was the connection with the fan. Did I do the right thing? Did we go in the right direction? Did we tell the right story? And so his stories to me were all about, it's a movie, but at the same time, if I go back to one of my first statements, if a family can go to a theater and enjoy it, or a couple or a kid, and they got away from something for 2 hours, then I want to keep doing this as long as I can. And that's what...
It's an honor to hear you talk about it. And we had dinner last night. Really cool, by the way. And I can't believe my life. But it's just awesome that this is a family thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's very clear when I speak to you, Robert, and you, Robbie, that this means a lot to you guys. And I'm sure it means a lot to you guys. And so everybody wants to know, where are we going after 45 years of great films, great franchise development? What are we doing next with this franchise? Robert. I'll throw it to you first, or Robbie. Either one of you can take it.
Yeah, I think. We are all in on this, 100%, right? And so we're going to do whatever it takes to give the fans what they want. And so it's just the way it is. And so, and we're not. And for us, it's after 45 years, we want another 45 years. And we hear you loud and clear, whether it's on social media or in certain pockets. So we're doing everything we can to push the envelope and go in a lot of directions. And I think Robbie and Sherry can speak to what's coming next, because we have a lot coming next. And it's just going to keep coming and coming and coming. But be patient for certain things. I know everyone wants that big, elephant in the room, right? But and we're going to get there. So we're just going to keep going till we give you what you want.
And if something doesn't work, we'll fix it. We're very receptive to that.
Yeah, I think so. We really are a family business. When my dad started his business, my mother ripped tickets. My uncle worked in the concession stand. My sister cooked pizzas, and I cleaned up at the end of the day. I learned how to run a projection booth when I was probably 5 years old. I knew how to make pizzas. I knew how to pick up popcorn off the floor. And so we are all in it, and I've been living with Jason for 45 years. So now that we're in complete control, if you will, we're going to make things happen. So you guys have a lot to look forward to.
Yes. All right, Sherry, let's get into this. I want to know what you can tell us about the future here.
Yeah, so, as Rob said, we want we want to bring everybody's favorite slasher back into the spotlight. And we've been working for the last few years really hard behind the scenes to bring new entertainment, gaming, theme park experiences, collectibles, collabs, bring it all back to life. And so we really hope that you all feel like it's been worth the wait once you see what we've been cooking up. We've been working with partners who are also huge fans of Jason and the franchise, who share our vision of making sure that we honor what was so iconic and beloved about Jason and the franchise, but also will help us expand and evolve our storytelling in lots of different ways. So, very much like our partnership with A24 and Peacock on our new prequel series, Crystal Lake, which we'll talk about a little more. We want to partner with people who get it and who are fans and who want to do right by what everybody loves, right? We introduced Jason Universe last year so that we could get ready for the 45th anniversary, because we want to keep celebrating all year long. Lots of surprises up our sleeves for you guys. And we really went out with Jason Universe because we wanted to have something that would kind of house all of our new projects that we have. So Crystal Lake, it's a prequel story. So, that fits nicely under the Jason Universe halo, if you will, house of Jason, if you will. We're really excited with how Crystal Lake and everything's coming together, but Crystal Lake is only the beginning. Rob said, we're in it for the next 45 years, and so we're excited to start to kick things off right here, right now.
Oh, let's do it. Let's dig into the reveal of Jason's new mask. Greg Nicotero, one of the icons of horror. He's not here, but a round of applause for Greg Nicotero. How did these designs come about? How did you, the wisdom to reach out to Greg Nicotero, right? To bring him in on the
Yeah, so we're working with, OG artists, but also new artists to the franchise to help us bring Jason into this next new chapter for everyone. Greg, amazing, a total mic drop guy. And so I called him up and said, we'd love to work with you. We'd love for you to help. I did call him, me. He's like, who are you? No. So we called him and just we'd love to work with you, and we'd love for you to help us bring this, our vision, help us bring it to life. And so he was so great, and we worked for weeks and weeks and weeks, months, on getting Jason to where we wanted to go. And actually, he couldn't be here. He was really upset that he couldn't be here. But yesterday, he brought me a surprise that he said I could share with all of you and do a little show and tell, which is...
That's so cool.
This is handmade, the first that he made in his studio. And it's so cool, and it's really thick. It's very collectible.
Can I touch it?
You can touch it.
Oh, so cool.
But yeah, so this is straight from Greg yesterday, hand-delivered. He wanted me to share it with everybody. Here, I'll hold it up.
That's so cool. I feel like we're at church.
Yeah.
So that's rad. Okay, so funny thing, it's a quick aside. Robbie, the number 13. This is really weird, actually. What is the significance of the number 13 with you?
So I was born on the 13th. I turned 13 on Friday the 13th.
And Sherry, what about you?
My birthday is also on the 13th.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a lucky number in our family.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's next for the franchise? When are we officially seeing the new Jason? Oh yeah, please.
Keep going on our artists.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Artists?
I thought oh yeah, please.
That's
do.
all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I just have to show it all off. What people are doing. So Jason Universe. Speaking of 13 letters in Jason Universe. If you look at the J, the S, and the O, machete tips in the logo, in the lettering, and the finish is worn machete metal. That was our inspiration. So in addition to working with Greg, we also worked with total Friday the 13th music legend, Harry Manfredini. I also called him up.
No way.
called Harry and said, we'd love to partner with you. Can you help us? Can you compose a new piece of music for our Jason Universe teaser video? And he was nice enough to say yes. And so I don't know if everyone's seen this or not, but we'll play this video. So yeah, he's like, let's give Jason his due. Let's do that. And again, with Greg Nicotero's design, you know, we wanted him to be this strong, towering, terrifying force. And of course, he had to have his machete. So we were excited to work with both those guys, and more to come. More surprises to come.
Yes.
We went with a more natural look, like some of the classic earlier films. So yeah, it was kind of the body shape that we ended up going with.
Yeah, it's real gritty. All right, so tell us more. What's next for the franchise? When are we officially
And there's
seeing
more.
the new Jason?
Well, Sweet Revenge. The man, the myth, the legend, Mike Nelson here sitting next to me. For the 45th, we really wanted to give everybody a sweet treat with Sweet Revenge. We wanted to bring Jason back up on screen since Crystal Lake was delayed a year, that I'm sure everyone knows. And so we just said, you know, we think it'd be really fun to work with a horror filmmaker who's making movies right now, who's a fan, who loves Jason, who loves Friday the 13th, and see what their vision would be to pay homage to the 80s classics, and take, you know, kind of a similar approach to how those early movies were made. And so we met with Mike. We loved Mike. We loved his take. It is full of practical kills, Easter eggs, and he even gave us a new twist. And so we're so excited that Mike signed on, and can't wait for you to see how he brought this to life in Sweet Revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited to see that. Judson, you actually had a hand in bringing Mike into the project. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and why do you think he was a great fit for the project?
Totally, yeah. I was working on Conjuring Last Rites last year, which comes out later this year. And Sherry and the team reached out and said they were going to make a short film for off Friday the 13th, and asked if myself and Ryan Turek, who helped out too, if we knew of any filmmakers that might be interested. Which, to get that email was just fucking awesome, so thank you for that. And you know, Mike is someone who I'd met a few times before. He made a Wrong Turn movie called Wrong Turn. That's excellent. If you've ever seen it, highly recommend. No shade on Wrong Turn, but you know, going into a new Wrong Turn movie, I think that it exceeded expectations for me personally in terms of what I thought could be done with that franchise. It's a terrific film. And he also did a segment in, what VHS was it?
85.
85. That's out fucking standing. And so I saw that and reached out to Mike again. We had met before, but I followed back up just to be like, dude, I love your VHS segment. Let's chat again. And that's part of my job. I'm watching horror movies. I'm meeting filmmakers, trying to find who to work with next. And I've always just been a big fan of this guy. So when Sherry and the team reached out, he immediately came to mind, both just for the quality of his movies and how good and scary they are, but also because he does movies in the woods, and he makes really effective horror movies in the woods, which not a lot of people do anymore. And so it just seemed like a real obvious fit. I put them in touch. And then, I don't know, a couple months ago, Sherry reached back out and they're like, we hired Mike. And I was ecstatic to hear that news. And I haven't seen what's going to be shown here today. I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited for it. But I'm also very happy that Mike got to work on it because I know it'll be good.
Yeah, Mike, please tell us what you can, but also show us what you can.
Yeah, so first I have to say, so this is my first Comic-Con ever. It's like, I can't even explain to you like the goosebumps that I have right now that I am on a Friday the 13th panel, my first Comic-Con, presenting a Friday the 13th trailer for this film that I got to make. Like, this is just mind-blowing. There was growing up, my company is called Rockford Road Pictures, and as maybe a little bit boring as that sounds, it's very meaningful to me because for years I would go up to my parents' cabin and met a whole bunch of friends up there. I always brought a video camera, and we literally made Friday the 13th rip-off movies every summer. Our character was called the Man in Orange. He was in an orange like hunting jumpsuit with a motorcycle helmet on his head. And you couldn't see his face, but it was like an all throwback to the Friday the 13th movies, and we just loved doing it every summer. And we did them on the road that our cabin is on, Rockford Road. And so the fact that this has come this full circle to then doing those and then actually being a part of this and working with you guys has just been an incredible experience from just being able to pitch for the movie. I was working on a movie in Colombia when I got this call, and we had literally done it overnight. And then it was like, so Mike, can you get on a call with them? I'm like, let's go. And 4 hours of sleep later, it was like we were talking about this.
I think Mike, when we interviewed him, he was in his bathrobe.
I mean, but again, surreal and extremely blessed, and so it's so cool to see this come full circle because I wouldn't have expected this almost in 100 years. So, but to get back onto the cool thing, sorry, that was my mushy moment of what this has all meant to me.
It's special. It means a lot to a lot of people,
Yeah.
man.
And I mean, I get to share this with my wife and son, and this is my son's drawing. He just did this in the green room. It's just like, what is happening? Anyway, so this film that I was able to write and direct. Again, saying that is crazy. Was like I'm a huge fan. I love the first 4 movies are incredible films, and I love Final Chapter. And to me, Final Chapter is like it developed the vibe and I'm just gonna say it developed the horror vibe of that entire decade. Like it was I don't know of any other movie that comes close to making you feel that way. Just the look, the lighting, that music. Smacking Jason in the head with a fucking hammer. Like, it's just like, I mean, it's just, the kills, like, doing kills in the shadows, and like, it captured a moment in time, and it summed up a decade of horror, in my opinion. And so, when they came to me, I was like, look, I have some ideas, and I really want to, I'm not looking to do a period piece. I want to do something modern, but I want to create, I want to try to create that feeling again that we all had when we saw that movie for the first time, whether it was, 20 years after it was made or whether it was in the theater. And so that was a huge goal. The second goal was, where does Jason go from here? I think what's really important about these movies is they show a group of young people that you do kind of love and care about. Maybe you hate some of them and maybe you love some more, but like really finding a group of people that you want to follow. And then of course there's Jason. And it was important to me that with an idea like this, that this is an idea that could kick off something that gives us a slight bit more of Jason and possibly start to dig into some of the whys while keeping things still very mysterious. And we do that with some of these new characters that we're introducing you to in Sweet Revenge. I don't know, like I kind of want to show something. Like,
Yeah. Who wants to see something?
You guys want to see a little bit?
A little bit of our 13 minutes of fun.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a 13-minute movie, but today I'm going to show you a sneak peek of what we did, and I'm very excited for it. I'm very proud of it, and I hope you guys enjoy these next 45 seconds.
That was so freaking awesome, dude. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
All right, what do I say now? Okay, what are we doing next? When do we see more? I'm hyped. So you've probably seen some of the news about this leading up to the panel, but everyone in this room will receive an extremely limited edition lithograph poster, only available to attendees of this panel, designed by one of Jason's biggest fans, me. My wife is here listening to you clap. That is so cool. Here it is. And it's a linoleum block print. I carved the original rolled ink on it, pressed the paper onto it. So I felt like that was really befitting of the grit and the tone that Mike's bringing to this project, right? It's real rustic. So I'm honored that you guys clap for that. Thank you so much. I'll be at the Mondo booth all weekend to sign them. If you want to swing by, I'll be signing them for you. I'm trying to see if I can get Mike there to sign a few with us. And I know there's more to come.
Yeah.
Cherry,
Yes.
what can you tell us about what fans can continue to expect in 2025, this year and beyond?
Yes. Well, even experience here. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you have been by the NECA booth, but they are showcasing the ultimate Savini Jason, if there are any Friday the 13th The Game fans out there. Yeah. It looks amazing. It's on preview right now, and it'll be available to collect in the next few months. Randy and team did an amazing job. So, and there's more to come, much, much more to come. Also, Universal, Halloween Horror Nights. So Jason, it's been almost a decade since Jason and Friday the 13th were in Halloween Horror Nights houses. So he'll be in Orlando and in Hollywood. Orlando opens August 29th. Hollywood opens September 4th. And what's really great is, again, we wanted to give everybody a chance to kind of relive their favorite Jasons, their favorite kills. And that's what Universal's going to do this year. So we're going back to the 1980s era. And you're going to see Jason and see some really all your favorite kills. So really excited about that. Universal and us, we're really excited about this. And we actually, surprise, are giving away 13 free tickets right here, right now. I have my Oprahs, my Vannas back here. All right, so after this panel, all the winners need to bring those tickets filled out and bring them back up to me so that I can get you your tickets. So we also have giveaways. In addition to Peter's amazing, amazing print, we have Jason hats for everybody, exclusive just in this room. And we have our 2025 new Spirit masks. You're going to get it before you can buy it. And there's more to come. So stay tuned. Follow us on our socials at Jason Universe 13 for all the latest and greatest news.
All right, Robbie, let's follow that up. What else can we expect going forward?
So we know everyone wants a new movie, a new game. We do too, and it's been 16 years, so it's been a while for the movie. I can tell you that a new sequel movie and a new sequel game are at the top of our list. It's where most of our energy is going right now, and I can tell you finally we're in a position to deliver on that. And so while we're not officially announcing with our partners today, both are coming. So they're both in the works and they're both coming.
What else?
Well, I mean, we can't leave here without talking about Crystal Lake. And so we're so excited to partner with A24 and Peacock. I mean, this takes us back to our storytelling, tells the prequel story They're shooting right now. They're wrapping up episode 3, so they were really bummed. Brad Kane, showrunner, really bummed he couldn't be here. But our partners, A24 and Peacock, put something together so we could get a look at what's going on at Crystal Lake these days. I will say our partners asked that this be for your eyes only and not to record. But yeah, we're going to take you back to Crystal Lake and give you a little peek at what's to come. So if we're going to play this video. And don't forget to get your giveaways. They'll give you tickets on the way out, so don't forget to go get your 3 gifts.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody. That's been our panel. Don't forget the ticket. Like she said, everything's coming with those tickets. We love you very much. See you later.